Hey, this is Canning again doing Deck of the Month Twilight. Okay, now essentially this deck, it's pretty speedy, and of course the Lightsworns are a great engine to just blast through your deck and get the cards you need. Okay, first off, I'm still in the process of getting a Judgment Dragon, so these are my two finishers right here. These are my two finishers. Dad, of course. Can't have Twilight without Dad. And I need a Judgment. I'm working on a Judgment. Once a Judgment comes in, this is going out. But he's still pretty good, and this guy can still win games. You pretty much what I do, you know. Exactly 3. Nuke whatever your opponent has. And this gains 300 for each Lightsworn in your grave with a different name. 2 Honest. I'm working on 3rd, but yeah. Honest, Essential, and Lightsworns, and pretty much any other light deck or main attribute light deck. And it's just amazing. 1 Celestia. She kind of nukes the field, and she can be your win condition in certain situations. She's pretty awesome. Mill 4, destroy 2 on your opponent's side of the field. Better than most Monarchs. 2 Lila. I run 2. And I have the 3rd, and that's a side deck kind of thing, depending on what my opponent has. If it's like super defensive, or you know, just clear the path for Dad, or the Dragon. 2 Luminous, main essential engine in this deck, and of course with the card of safe return, man, gives you draw power like nobody's business. 2 Garth. Just whenever your other Lightsworns mill, he mills 2, and for each Lightsworn milled with his effect, you draw 1 card. Pretty good drawing conditions there. 2 Janes. Most decks they run 18 or higher attacks. This one can run up to 21 and demolish most 4 stars. Pretty good opening move with her. Mills 2 too, which isn't too bad. 1 Wolf. I run 1. I have the other 2 also side deck, but I have a lot of bad luck with wolves. I always tend to draw them when I solar recharge, and for me it's not a great option, especially here wherever you live. Your meta is always different, and here where I live in Texas, I run just 1. I run a Foolish also, but with the darks that I run, I try to have them in the grave, and I can control them a lot easier, so I just run 1. 1 Erin. She's great against defense position monsters, just launching them back into their decks. And she's an amazing card. Can't have a Lightsworn without her. Mills 3 too. A Plague Spreader. Of course, with card of safe return, you'll be bringing this guy back, drawing 1, and I run Imperial Iron Wall on the side, so he can't be removed, so I can just keep spinning cards to bring him out to draw more, so I can synchro summon like crazy. Sangan gets me most of my darks. He gives me Plague Spreader, and he also fetches Honests, so he's really handy to have in this deck. A Chaos Sorcerer with a lot of lights and darks. You can always bring him out and remove pesky synchros that your opponent might have. An Armageddon Knight. Depending on the situation, you can send a Necro to the grave, or Plague Spreader, and synchro for 6, whatever you need to. He's a pretty sweet first turn Goyo Guardian, especially in this deck. 2 Necros. Easy to control in the grave. If you have 4 darks in the grave, negate an attack, you'll have a perfect way to bring out Dad. And a Newdoria. I know not most decks will run a Newdoria, but I like Newdoria, and I always try and have him get destroyed. It's pretty good monster destruction, so it's pretty sweet. On to the spells. 3 solar recharges. I don't have any charges. I don't have any charges. Yeah, they're pretty hard to acquire, but yeah, 3 solar recharges, pretty sweet. Scarred, a Light Sworn, draw 2, mill 2. It's amazing. 1 Allure of Darkness. It's always great to have the +2. But if you don't need to send any more darks to the grave, you can just, with this card, just draw 2 and remove it. So you can have exact 3 without having to worry about it. 1 card of safe return. There's a lot of special summoning from the graveyard. So there's going to be this gives you a lot of draw potential. It's an amazing card. Always run 1 in Light Sworns. Monster Reborn. What deck doesn't have this card? It's Hobby League shiny. It's just an amazing card to have. This is a staple. Monster Reincarnation to get Dad or Dragon. If there's anything else you might need, back to your hand. I know once Judgment, this thing's gonna be pretty broken in this deck. Shiny. 1 Foolish Burial. Whatever you need to send to the grave, you can Foolish, Wolf, and sack for anything else. Just always a great card to have. It'll essentially turn into a dark in the grave, so whatever you need. Pot of Avarice. If you have too many darks in the grave, or you need to have an Honest back into your deck, or whatever you need, this always has great potential to get you a +2 and shuffle 3 Honest back into your deck. Brain Control, staple. And Heavy Storm, it's an obvious staple. No MST, I took out MST. Sorry guys. Beckoning Light. What Light Sworn deck doesn't have Beckoning Light? It's just an amazing card. It's a really pro card, and just great to have. Dark Bribe. I'm working to get a Solemn Judgment. I have 1, but I'm working to have at least 2. So Dark Bribe he's taken up into this deck. So yeah, negates spells or traps. Phoenix Wingwind Blast. Ooh, shiny. Just discard a card and spin 1 card for your opponent's side of the field. Mirror Force. So get rid of if your opponent is trying to swarm as well. Get rid of their swarm. Magic Cylinders. Hey, it's always great to deal damage. Always a great card to have. Torrential. If your opponent has some pesky synchros that you can't get past, this is always a great card to have. And 1 Compulsory Revocation Device. My deck's pretty defensive but offensive as well, so this is always a great card to have. And as for the synchros, I've got Colossal, a lot of the basic stuff. Colossal, Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust, Goyo. I have some other 6-star synchros too, but I don't have them with me. And then of course from the new set, Light and Dragon. It's a pretty awesome card to have. But yeah, and that's it. Thanks guys, subscribe and peace.